Big wake-up call, or wide awake. Of course, we expected it. Talking about it all week. It's about the fundamentals of Test rugby, and if you make the mistakes that we made, and they were all over the field. We knocked balls on, dropped balls, didn't secure loose balls, gave penalties away, and all those sort of things. Then you just invite pressure back on yourself. That's what Test rugby is all about. We know that. Do we have to go and experience it to understand it? Maybe we do. For some players, of course, it is the first time they've played South Africa. So, disappointing thing is, when we had the ball in our hands, we looked like we could create pressure and get round them. We did a couple of times in the first half, got penalties, but we just invited it back on ourselves too often. If you compound errors with errors, and at this level, we talk about it all the time. You'll give them shots, you'll give them opportunities. I thought defensively we held it's almost like they were having driving maul practice at one point, and we kept them away, we kept them out. We defended our 22 really well in the first half. Defended our goal line when they had the ball in the 22. But eventually it tells. We had a couple of periods in the second half when we should have scored. I think the ref had his arm out for a penalty, and we went wide, and they didn't come back for it, so we didn't get anything. And they went down to the other end and scored pretty quickly. So the realities of Test match rugby are, if you don't do the fundamentals of the game well enough for 80 minutes, you don't give yourself a chance to win. And probably summed our game up at the end when Tom was trying to get that ball away and just got caught man and ball, and they end up with a scrum. So disappointing, because I think we felt if we could get the momentum into our attack that we could do something. We must have fumbled more balls out of tackles than the rest of the series put together, and that's just frustrating and annoying, because it doesn't give you the chance. Now they're a big, heavy, physical team. We know that. We talked about it. So I think in that, I think it was a real tough sort of end of the series. Test match, cold, and there were some big hits going in. We lost a couple of players, which was a disruption, but we've got to handle that too. If we're not getting the breaks or the bounce of the ball or all those things, well, that's fine. But we've just got to handle it and be a little bit better, and not aid the process by turning the ball over.
Mistakes are mistakes, Martin, but you must be a bit concerned by the way the pack was dominated today.
I think you're completely right. It was dominated. They did pretty well. The amount of chances we gave South Africa to drive at us, we held them off pretty well. Line out was a little bit disrupted with Crofty off there, and they got their hands on the ball a couple of times, but I thought they competed really well.
You mentioned you lost Flood, you lost Croft. You didn't lose Ashton, but should he have stayed on, do you think?
Yeah, the medics said he was good to go. They don't take risks.
And Croft and Flood, what's the situation with them?
I thought he got a bang on the head. He had to come off, and Tom's gone off for an X-ray on his shoulder.
South Africa threw away a lot of scoring opportunities. Do you think the scoreline tried to do that?
Well, so did we. So the scoreline is what it is.
Just going back to Chris Ashton, John, because you say obviously the medics will keep him on if it was dangerous, but the referee was pretty insistent that Chris was in a bad way and he wanted him off. Were you sort of aware of that?
No, I just listened to what our medics said.
And right, so as far as you're concerned, as soon as the medic said he's fine, end of the issue, he was okay, was it?
Yeah.
How do you assess England then across the piece of November? Clearly step forward, but is this a little hiccup, step back?
Look, you play a game, we beat Australia, everyone wants to call you the next great thing. I mean, we have to understand, to play Test rugby in all its forms, and it's not always going to be like the Australia game. So I thought their kicking game was very good today. It pinned us back. We went wide now 22. Was it on? Was it not? They ended up with a 5 metre scrum. If we got round them, I think the edge was free. If we got round them, we might be talking differently, but we didn't. So it's doing the right thing every time, getting it right every time. You won't always get it, but we need to aim for it. And there was too many mistakes today. Some of them were forced by their pressure, as we did to them. But you've got to, you can't compound them and let them keep coming at you. I think, we gave away some silly penalties. We maybe had some unlucky calls, but that happens too. and you suddenly just find yourself continuing your third of the field, which we did at the end of the first half and the middle of the second half. So I think we've done a huge amount of good stuff in this series. The guys have come away from any game, win or lose, knowing that they can go and compete and play with these teams. They're disappointed in what they've done today. You put everything into trying to win every Test match. So right now we're pretty glum. I think when we come together Monday, when you start thinking about it in terms of the future, there's lots and lots of good things come out of it. And so with all these young guys, it's almost whatever happens on the field, they get better from it. So we need to do that. But Test match rugby is, I said all the way through, is pretty basic and pretty simple, but you have to execute the fundamentals under pressure. So many times today, we fumbled the ball away, we didn't secure the ball. Those errors just hurt us. Penalties. It's just turning over possession too cheaply. We went for a couple of little chip kicks another day. We get the bounce of the ball. They're smart operators. They screen you off and all those things that good teams do, and it ends up being from our opportunity to them getting the ball back cheaply. So we always talk about the whole ebb and flow of a Test match, and over the whole 80 minutes, we weren't efficient enough to warrant being in the lead at the end.
So is it fair to say that a big lesson that actually you're going to be better for in the long run?
Oh, I think we'll be better for it. I don't like the sort of we learned a lesson and all that sort of thing. We sort of knew what to expect, and the guys have to go through it a little bit to probably understand it fully. I guess they do. So even in saying that, it just rankles a bit because we could have been better.
This is you're still confident this is your group going forward?
No, absolutely. You're not going to. Absolutely, yeah. I say all the time, people, it's one game, just as the Australia game was one game. So the progression of this team is hugely upwards. There's no doubt about that. Even as I say, despite the fact that we invited pressure on ourselves, we didn't concede a try in that first half. We kept them out. Some really, really good defence. I don't think we'd have done that at the start of this series, never mind a year ago. So great effort. We just need to be that little bit better, that little bit smarter in some of these games.
Your 3 serious injuries were all from you tackling them. Is that a freak? Is there anything to learn from that? Is that just
I haven't seen them close up if there's anything technique-wise on them, but it's a tough Test match. There was guys going down all over the place, and that's what it is. That's what we knew it was going to be. It's what they've all been. You're playing good teams. That's.
John, it's a pretty inexperienced side in many places. A lot of those guys have probably never played in a game like that before. Did the fact that, because you knew what was coming, but the fact that they couldn't handle it and there were the errors under pressure, would that show the inexperience of the side today?
Well, when I say knew what was coming, they actually changed what they did. If you noticed, they did change what they did. I think there's a lot of talk in the week about what South Africa were doing. They did change what they did. They were ready to come and play us. I think their coaches did a good job. We have to be, when you're in that little bit of chess and who's doing what and how you react to it, we probably need to be a little bit better on our feet there. But Footy was out of the game pretty quickly, and that probably did affect us a little bit more than it maybe should have done.
Okay, thank you very much.